I've mentioned a couple times throughout the course so far that there are these hidden forces that shape our habits and behavior. And I want to talk about the first of those hidden forces now. In this module, we'll be discussing the power of environment and how it shapes our habits and actions, our choices and behaviors throughout each day, and what we can do to optimize and improve that. To open this up, I'd like to tell you a little bit of a story about some research that was done by biologist Jared Diamond. Now, Diamond is not only a biologist, but also a geologist, and so he studies the shape of the world and how it impacts the living organisms within those environments. And one interesting piece of research that he did looked at the shape of different continents, which obviously differs, and the rates of agriculture across those continents. So, for example, the primary axis of Europe and Asia is east-west, right? It's a very long landmass all the way from France to China that is primarily east and west in orientation. The primary axis of Africa, or North and South America, for example, is north-south. So Africa is primarily up and down, so is South America and North America, all connected in one landmass. And what Diamond found was quite interesting, that agriculture tended to spread about 2 to 3 times faster across Europe and Asia as it did up and down the Americas throughout the years. And there are a variety of reasons, but one of the reasons for this is different climate. So for example, as you go north and south, the climate is much different in, say, Florida versus Canada. Whereas the climate is very similar, rainfall, sunlight, and so on, in France, all the way across Asia to China. And so farmers could take one crop and spread it all the way across the Eurasian landmass, but they would need a new crop every time they got to a different climate or environment in Africa or Asia. And the net result of this is that over the course of centuries, agriculture spread 2 to 3 times faster. Now, once you understand this, it becomes somewhat interesting to think about. Where else does the environment shape our habits and behavior? Does it shape our success and failure? There's no evidence that we have that farmers in Europe and Asia were more motivated, for example, than farmers in Africa or the Americas. There's no evidence that we have that they were more talented or genetically gifted. It's just a factor of the environment that they were operating in, and that made success more possible or more likely or more expedient or more rapid. And so it's the same way with our habits and behaviors on a small scale as it is with the spread of agriculture on a large scale. The environment that we live in, the physical space we are surrounded by, the options that are presented to us shape the actions that we take and the success that we do or don't have. And the purpose of these lessons that are to come is to help you design an environment of inevitability, a place where making progress, building habits that stick, making behavior change possible is not just a hopeful outcome, but an inevitable outcome. If we can organize our environment in such a way to shape our behaviors and make success more likely, then it becomes much easier for us to stick with habits and routines. And this is one of the core lessons of the power of environment on our habits, which is that so often we like to ascribe our success to whether or not we have willpower. If we happen to get a new job, it's because we worked hard and we're dedicated. And if we don't get a job, it's because the economy sucks and there's no jobs on the market. So we're quick to blame the environment when things go negatively, but we forget about the power of the environment when things go positively. And so often what looks like good luck is really just a good environment that is promoting the behaviors and actions that you want to take versus the ones that you don't want to take. So as we start these lessons, keep that in mind, and we'll talk about ways to optimize and improve the environment that you operate within so that your habits can stick rather than fail.